Right. Okay, we're good.
All right.
Yeah, you don't have to get real close. You're very
No.
sensitive.
I don't have to get close
You don't
at all.
have to even have.
I can point this thing the other way and it'll get on recording, but that's just... All right. And a very good evening. It is 7:02, and I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Bedminster Township Committee, one of our regular meetings. It is April 16th, 2018. Our entire committee is with us tonight. And Ms. Sullivan, can I get the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Yes, sir. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News in Somerville and the Burnsville News in Whippany to all subscribers, and also posted here at the Municipal Building as of January 8th, 2018.
I will ask you all to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have two sets of minutes to review and approve, both from our last meeting, April the 2nd, our regular meeting minutes, and our executive session. Any comments or questions?
I just communicated a minor typo to Judy, just nothing big.
If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Permits and raffles. We have an off-premise 50/50 raffle. Cancer Support Community, Central New Jersey, June the 2nd. That's at 3 Crossroads Drive, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. An on-premise merchandise license for the Franciscan Charities, May the 14th, 2018. Fiddler's Elbow Country Club, 9 a.m. to noon. Where's that? Yeah, that's noon. 12 p.m. An on-premise merchandise license for the Center for Contemporary Art, April 29th, 2018, 2020 Burnt Mills Road. And that goes from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And a social affair permit for the Junior League of Morristown, May the 4th, 2018. Fiddler's Elbow Country Club, 811 Rattlesnake Bridge Road, from 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then we'll do the last one separately.
Yes, and people from Trump weren't able to be here right away, so they hope to be here between 7:45 and 8.
Okay.
So towards the end of the meeting, if we could, when
Please don't let me forget it.
he arrives, yes.
Any comments or questions on the four that I've mentioned? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Public comments, twice every meeting. We open that microphone at that podium up to any member of the public that wishes to be heard. If you come to the microphone to be heard, you cannot be seen on camera, but we do need for the audio recording your name and your address, and if you're representing anyone in specific.
Hi, Susie Stevenson, 23 Ski Hill Drive, Bedminster.
We've heard of you.
Yes, I am not representing the Board of Education. I just wanted to come on behalf of the 7th grade students at Bedminster School and thank John Hans and the gentleman that he brought over on Thursday to try to rescue our charter bus so we could get to New York City. Unfortunately, it couldn't be rescued, but Cindy Gatone at school got us a Parker bus and Ubered in, so kids did get to see their Broadway play. But I just wanted to say thank you for coming down and helping us.
Very welcome.
Greatly appreciate it. And I also want to thank the members of the Township Committee for individually donating to Spring Play. So thank you all.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, we will go to monthly reports from our subcommittee chairs. And we will start with Mr. Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. The only update I really have is for the fire. We attended very nice dinner this past weekend. Mayor, you were there. Stacy, you were there. I was there. Susie, you were there. Very nice event. It was great to see that both fire companies and the first aid company all to come together under the same roof and celebrate together, so that was nice. I have nothing for JVH. That's coming up on Wednesday, and REC is tomorrow. Excuse me, JVH is next Wednesday, REC is tomorrow.
All right. Mr. Hickey.
Mayor, thank you. Good evening. Couple quick things. Master Plan Committee, we issued our report to the Land Use Board on April 5th. Seems like it was well received, a lot of good questions and conversation. I would encourage everybody to access a copy of the report on the Bedminster website under Government-Master Plan. I might advise, but I think it's a pretty good read. So please, if you have a chance, take a look at it. Doug mentioned Rec Committee tomorrow. We'll give an update at the next meeting. And just a quickie on the Lamington River Restoration Project. They are still waiting word back from the NRCS on potential funding for 2018 and should have word within the next couple of weeks. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jacobs.
Thank you, Mayor. As Colin mentioned, the master plan committee presented the report, and then at last week's meeting, Frank Banish, the Bedminster planner, sort of walked us through the Bedminster plan re-examination process and looking at the 2000-2008 and looking at issues that we should anticipate for this year's re-examination report. And I'll be the subject of ongoing land use board meetings for the next couple weeks and months. And Ag Committee, we have a meeting tomorrow with both the county the County Planning Department and the State Ag Board, just to inform the Ag Committee members of the process of applying and prioritizing farmland preservation grants. And there's a couple pending, and I'm sure we'll actually get into some of the substance of those discussions tomorrow. And that's all I have.
All right. Ms. Santucci.
On Environmental Commission, we have a special guest here, so I'm going to ask the EC chair just to come up and talk about the two events that are upcoming.
Sure.
And again, the video cannot capture you, so say your name so the audio can hear you.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. Renee Moreski, Chair of Environmental Commission. This week is kind of exciting. On Wednesday here in the building, we're having Kathleen Palmer come and talk to us about butterflies and their importance as a role of pollinators. And in our agricultural community, we think that's pretty important. On Friday at the River Road Park, we're having Stephanie Fagan come and give us another talk. She's actually presented to the EC before on bats, another group of pollinators important to our neighborhood. And she's going to be helping us to hear some of the bat sounds. Hopefully on Friday it will be nice enough weather where they'll come out and visit us. And just to say thank you to John Nance and his crew, he put up a big sign that we have at River Road Park letting everybody know that we're going to be there. So please join us for both nights.
And then head on to Spring Fling afterwards.
There you go.
There you go. Jake, I hope you got all that. There's some neat stuff there. All right, Ms. Santucci.
So last Thursday, Colin and I met with Community Development in Somerset County. There was a very interesting process. The community block grant process has started, so the RFP process, and Colin and I will kind of add to the committees there and help determine what funds go where, make recommendations. So that that's due April 27th. And then May 9th is the award day, where we get to kind of weigh in and help with that process. And then Saturday night, I had a great time with the fire departments, the rescue squad. The amount of service, when they were talking about the service awards and 35 years and 40 years, and it's amazing. So a lot of dedication in our town. It was good to see.
I'm going to echo those comments. It was wonderful to see both fire departments and the rescue squad all celebrating together. They work as a team out there when there's mutual aid calls and for various types of things. Their videos were great. It was very impressive. And of course they picked probably the nicest day or night since last year. So, and it went south the day after, so yesterday. So, no, they did a great job. It was nice seeing them all celebrate together, enjoy each other's company, continue to build themselves as a team. And it was nice we had a good evening with some of the members of the Far Hills Council were there, and I think the deputy mayor from Tewksbury was there. So it was really a great joining of a bunch of several communities.
And everybody's so humble. Everybody's, 35 years, 40 years. That's
Yeah,
a
just
long time.
Yeah.
And
well, we've got some great volunteers in town. We've got some folks that, and one thing that I meant to mention in my remarks Saturday that I failed to mention was one of the things that we have going for us in Bedminster and with our volunteer rescue organizations that we share with other towns is they could always use a few more members, but the health, in so much as the amount of volunteers and the vitality of the organizations amongst the volunteers, we are in a much better position in Bedminster than a lot of neighboring communities. So, and that's a hats off to the leadership of all three of those organizations. So they do a great job. They keep us safe. It was very nice.
And have a good time doing
and
it.
they had a good time
Yeah,
doing
they-
it. And Sergeant Bernardo had a good time doing it too. So it was nice to see him and his wife. They represented the fire department or the police department very well. So we had a good time with them. So also, just to echo some things, we as Larry and Colin both said, we've had 2 meetings now. First one to introduce the master plan recommendations from the subcommittee. And they are on the website. There's a lot of interest in it, and I hope there continues to be more interest in it. It's an iterative process. There will probably be a report that will be completed in the next 6 weeks or so, but probably not. That's probably not the end of it. There is the review presented by the subcommittee has an awful lot of good food for thought, and it's not stuff that has to be implemented tomorrow. But it's stuff that's short-term and long-term, and everybody asks about transparency, and everybody asks about getting the word out. And with the new website, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. And the community really does need to take a look at our corridors, our commercial corridors, and what they're doing, and what we want to see in the next few years, either the short-term or the long-term. And I certainly hope people avail themselves, Colin, of your report, and they give us some feedback and participate. And with that, Ms. Sullivan, Administrator's Report.
A couple things. The chief and John Nance have been working hard, a lot today, actually, testing a lot of things, getting this room ready for our first court session tomorrow. So we will have court in this room beginning tomorrow, and I want to thank these 2 gentlemen for all their hard work to get that done. Okay. We had the state computer system installed today. We were testing the panic alarms. A lot to do. You did mention the website. Last week we had like about a day and a half that we had a little bit of a glitch, and it wasn't working, and we got a couple emails right away, which is nice to get that feedback. Mr. Hickey can help me when I say we needed an SSL certificate, which is a secure socket layer, to be in place so that when someone actually types in www.bedminster.us, now it will come up. That was not the case before, because we needed an HTTPS, meaning we're secure. So it's still indexing in Google. So when you Google Bedminster Township, it may not be the first thing to come up on the top. It's in Wikipedia, but you need to look for it. We're working on that, but it's going great. The tax collector, the CFO, and myself have had a number of meetings with third-party providers that would allow residents to pay their taxes online pretty easily. With the millennials and everything's online and everything's digital, it's the way to go, or a town is left behind. So we've met with a number. You have, I'm sorry it's so small, but you have, I don't want to go into all the particulars of the various vendors with you tonight, but this is just a short summary. Some vendors charge the town a setup fee, a monthly fee, a transaction fee, and then also charge the resident a transaction fee. As a result, things can get a little pricey. The vendor that we would like to go with, which is all the way on the bottom, has a setup fee and an annual fee based on the size of our town. They do not charge anything to the residents. They will put in whatever, if the town feels something would be appropriate for, call it a convenience fee. They recommend somewhere in the, since someone would have to put 50-cent stamp on an envelope, they suggest a 50-cent convenience fee. Some towns do $1, some towns do more, but that 50-cent convenience fee, we did an estimate of the number of transactions we estimate people actually do, and that 50-cent convenience fee will probably pay for the program annually. So we're recommending a 50-cent convenience fee. It will not allow credit cards at this time. Credit cards require a additional percentage to be added on to the charge.
So is this what, debits only?
So it's debits or electronic payments, immediate debits out of your out of your checking account.
Mhm.
That would be done electronically through our website, through a secure website. We found that most residents, when you're talking a large property tax payment, the charge card fees on top is significant. So there isn't a lot of usage. It could be added. If there's a big outcry, we can certainly add it, but that isn't part of this plan at this time. So we currently share our tax collector too with Far Hills. So this vendor that we'd like to go with would offer us a small discount if Far Hills were to come on as well. Since we're kind of a shared town, they would give us a shared service as well.
So that would run through our website?
Far Hills doesn't have a website yet, so once it would have to be on their website. So once they have a website, then we could move forward with that. But they would offer a discount to both towns. So if I have your approval, this would not be in place for the July billing. We would send it out in our newsletter in July with the tax bills, and this service would then be available the end of August for the third quarter.
Seems to me like the way of the world.
Yeah,
it's really
we met with
convenient.
quite a few of these companies, and we also reached out to our software provider for our tax, property tax, and our sewer tax, and found out which system works best with their system. So that's why we're choosing what we're choosing, and it's proven.
And you've given us a sample that literally all our neighbors except for Far Hills are doing this.
Right.
I mean, just about in all directions, just
Right.
about.
So unless you have any questions or concerns, we would hope to roll that out. You know.
So this company, it's the one at the bottom sitting there?
Yes,
That's the same one as Mendham and Bridgewater?
yes.
Right,
Okay.
now, but Bridgewater, so how does Bridgewater deal with the credit card issue?
So they do a 2.65% add-on.
Could we have it as an option if somebody decides they can, they want to do ACH and not money?
We can add that at any time. We were going to roll this out first, and then we can add that in. We would need to determine, their charge goes on to, the resident. So no additional charge to the town, but, we can certainly offer it. It's
But
just
there's
like
points.
adding.
Some people like to
People
get
get
the
points,
points
yeah.
and then they.
The only issue with that we have to be careful of is a liability issue, because if the vendor is not compliant with certain credit card requirements, we could wind up sucking up the liability if the credit cards are compromised. There's PCI DSS standards which basically ensure that the credit card provider has a way to basically make sure that credit card numbers and the other information that you use when you type in your credit card are physically separated and logically separated. And believe it or not, a lot of people don't do that, which means that the systems become compromised and hackable. And then you as the provider can be set up for liability. So credit cards that's a big
The ACH, you're putting in your bank account number,
correct.
and that would be,
But there's
I'd hate that to be more compromised, you know what I mean? I would hate more to have that.
agreed, but I'm just saying in terms of credit cards,
Yeah.
because somebody's limit is, how many thousands, those can be easily hacked and compromised if the data is not properly stored.
Is there a statement of kind of security or
So
privacy that we
yes,
can?
so how this would work, it would be a link on our website to this company's page, which is totally secure. He gave us all the information, which maybe
I can take a look
you
at it.
can look at it.
Yeah, I will.
But they would use our colors, they might use our Bedminster logo just so that it looks that it's Bedminster, but it's really not, it's their page. And they're totally secure per what the requirements are from the government. So you could certainly look at it.
I'll take a look at it, definitely.
And I presume that there's an agreement in place between the provider and the municipality so that John could look at it and make
Yeah,
sure
so
that
I have
to
it.
the extent that Colin
Yes.
identifies those concerns that they're addressed in the contract. And John, did you do something similar for Berners?
No, it's been in there for so long, I
Oh,
don't
really?
even
Yeah,
remember.
Berner did use them for a while, and then they did switch, but they did use this same company for a period.
Judy, Can you just speak to the reasons why you would like to use this preferred provider down here? Because as I look at the columns, they seem to be the most expensive across the way here. Cost of municipality is $4,800 a year, looks like.
No, 800 is the number of line items we have.
No, cost of municipality, $400 a month.
That's the one we're not going with.
That's the PGB, not the city net.
P-PAC
Yeah.
Gladstone.
That's,
If you look,
So there's two options.
So the two, oh, there's
so
two
the
options
far
there?
at the bottom,
There's
which
two vendors.
is 1562.
So line items is just the number of bills that we send out.
Right.
Right, no, I get that.
So the charge is based on the number of line items we have. So
So the
you can
first-
just see, the number of line items the different towns have, and the charges are based upon how many accounts they manage.
So they tell you what the expectation is from, if you have 4,800 bills that are going out, how many of those are expected to go through electronic payment?
About 700 to 800 a quarter is what the estimate was.
So then, is that where at 50 cents a transaction, is that where?
Yeah,
That's the break-even number?
That's where we, figure that if we do 50-cent convenience fee, it'll pay for itself. So I can send John the paperwork, and I can have Colin see some of the background security information that they provided.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
very good.
There's also a project going on out on 206. We received notification, maybe you've seen some of the signs, coming soon, starting April 9th, maybe they've started already. It's a slurry seal. I don't know that I even know what that is.
It's okay, nobody does.
Nobody does, okay, so it's
I thought
starting.
I ordered one of those at Dunkin' Donuts the other day.
In the vicinity of where the split is for 202, 206, all the way up to the Chester line. So that is underway.
It's a pavement preservation program, all it is like a seal coat. All it is.
Okay. And lastly, just a reminder, financial disclosure statements are due April 30th.
All
If you
right,
have a question or you've not done one, let us know, we'll walk you through it, but it's that time of year again.
I'll go back
And
and
then you
search for
have
that
to if you
link.
don't do it.
I know
You have
Diane
two
sent it
people
out
that
about a week ago.
that have not responded,
Yep.
and you can't say, oh, I forgot. No, they send you a
Yeah.
fine. So. Okay, that's all I have.
Before we leave administrator's report, John, how did we do with the rain today? Any significant? Got wet?
it
We
rained.
had quite a few floods, quite a few washouts. So, had a lot of rain in a short amount of time.
Primarily dirt roads or any of the other roads impacted?
We had a number of county roads were also impacted for a short amount of time, and I think as I came through tonight, looks like everything's within the embankments again, so they're okay, so. But it did impact county roads and local roads also. What about?
Yeah, we had like 3 nicks go out today with roads closed, so.
So that the new on-ramp from 287 is completely underwater?
I'm sorry?
The new on-ramp that they're building 287 is
That's
completely
the old
underwater?
ramp. That's the old one that you saw as you're coming.
Well, the one you don't use, yeah.
The one you don't use, that used to be the old 22B,
Okay,
and then that's the one that's coming out, that's the one that's
Oh,
full
good.
water right now.
good.
Never heard Bun.
All right. We're going to go take 2 steps back on the board, and we have one more permit and raffle. I see we've got a gentleman in the back. You're here to talk about the fireworks application for the 27th of May. We have a fireworks application, May 27th, 2018, approximately 9:30 p.m. at the Trump National Golf Club. You're on audio. The video camera's not picking you up, so if you'd give us your name and your position, and
Certainly.
Have at it.
I am Rob Totten. I am the Director of Security at Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster.
that's got to be a big job these days.
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations. But you want to just talk to us a little, I know in years past, we've done the Memorial Weekend fireworks. If you just want to refresh us, is it same as last year or the year before, or what's different, or anything new?
Sure. It's going to be basically the same that we've done every year, where we have police and the fire there. It's our annual Memorial Day festivities, where we have fireworks and other events for the members, for guests, and everybody who is there to enjoy the event.
Do you have any
It was
questions?
fine, yeah.
Just to review, Mr. Totten sent out his application, which goes to the police chief, it goes to the fire official, comes here to us as well. There is a fee, it's all been reviewed. I don't think the chief has...
No problem whatsoever.
Nothing new. I know Paul Bell and Tom Anderson are usually looking at it, and I think the only thing we had about 2 years ago was they had the I can't even remember what the name of the ground mounted things that come up like when you see the football team at the Super Bowl coming out of anyway. But we had to all wonder what that was and had that explained to us and very
No, everything's...
slowly, and it's, okay.
And the only other thing we do is we write letters to all of our neighbors within 200 feet of the property, just so they have, awareness that the fireworks will be going up on a certain date and time.
And hopefully Jake will pass that along and what's happening these days to know that there'll be some lights and booms going off around Copperthwaite.
Yes.
And I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks, Bob.
Appreciate it. Have a good night.
We hope you have some good weather.
Thank you.
A discussion on introduced ordinances. We don't have any. Introduction of ordinances. We don't have any. We do have a public hearing on one ordinance tonight, a fairly important one for some people on this road. We have an ordinance 2018-004, an ordinance authorizing the engineering design for improvements to Hillside Avenue. This ordinance will provide funding for the first phase of engineering design for a 2018 capital project for the improvements to Hillside Avenue, for which the township has received NJDOT fiscal year 2017 municipal aid program grant for $190,000. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
I will open.
I would hope so.
I'll move to open this one.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Is there any member of the public that wishes to have a comment or question regarding this ordinance? Or a member of the dais? Well, I will say Hillside Avenue needs it, so I'm glad we're moving forward with this. Any other comments or questions? Can I motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2018-004?
I'll move to close.
Second.
I'm sorry.
Do we have a second?
Doug seconded.
We have a motion, and I believe, Mr. Stevenson, we have a second.
Thank you. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, I will call for a motion to approve ordinance 2018-004.
I will move to approve the ordinance authorizing engineering design for improvements to Hillside Avenue.
Second.
Roll call vote. Stevenson.
Yeah, aye.
Mr. Hickey.
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs.
Aye.
Ms. Santucci.
Aye.
Mayor Parker.
Aye. I gotta say, though, I remember several years ago, we had an ordinance to improve Airport Road, and there was not even unanimity in my house about that, so,
I remember that.
because you improve the road, and people go faster,
Which is
so-
true, actually, it is
and
happening.
so it's a double-edged sword.
I went
but-
very slow past you today.
Yeah.
That's all the bridge.
I made sure, speeding down the road.
Could be true.
We don't have that up on Hillside.
All right, we have one item on the consent agenda, which makes an interesting consent agenda. Can I get a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote. Mr. Stevenson.
Aye.
Mr. Hickey.
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs.
Aye.
Ms. Santucci.
Aye.
Mayor Parker.
Aye.
Thank you.
We have 3 resolutions, and I'm sure they have to be done in this order, because I'm guessing the second and third ones
Yes,
won't happen
and
if the first one don't
This
happen.
particular resolution, you need to read the top section.
So, the first one I have to find it first. I think it's this.
Yes.
So, this is Resolution 2018-040. Be it resolved that the Township Committee of the Township of Bedminster, County of Somerset, that the budget herein before set forth is hereby adopted, and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated of the sums therein set forth as appropriations and authorizations of the amount of $6,648,108.07 for municipal purposes, $367,832.32 open space, recreation, farmland, and historic preservation trust fund levy, and $847,833 for library purposes. Is that
That's all you have to
it?
read.
That's all I have to read. Can I get them? This is the budget. So I will ask for comments or questions or a motion.
There's also, everyone got a summary of what makes up all those numbers.
Jake, did you get the summary from the last time? Did you see the video? Do you know what everything's in here? Okay.
There'll be a test
We don't
later.
have to-
There'll be a
we
test
don't have to
later,
repeat it.
so.
Well, if no one else is going to do it, I will move to approve.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson.
Aye.
Mr. Hickey.
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs.
Aye.
Ms. Santucci.
Aye.
Mayor Parker.
Aye.
Thank you.
And having said that, I'll make a comment, and I'll entertain anybody else who wants to make a comment. A zero increase on the budget. The word we're getting out on the street from our friends down in Somerville is that there will be a slight reduction, if not a freeze, but maybe a slight reduction from the county. And I know the school is continuing to work on their budget, but structurally, because of paying off the debt on the school, even though there may be some other issues going on, they will likely see at least a freeze, if not a reduction in the cost. So this could be a pretty darn good year for the Bedminster taxpayers. So I appreciate, again, all the hard work.
You know, I just want to do an intro for the mayor. The mayor and I, on Saturday during the day, attended a political event. And lots of folks there, congressmen running for re-election, and other folks running for Congress, running for state assembly positions, county positions, and it's something that the mayor has talked about up on this dais before, but he had an opportunity for a little bit of a statewide audience, and he went into it, and I think that the comments that, Steve, you made on Saturday are germane and really are reflected in this year's budget, that the savings that Bedminster Township has effected over the last several years have realized themselves and have grown, and we see it. We just look at this plan just on the surplus amount. And so, Steve, if you'll just, give us a few moments of what you laid out on a statewide basis, and
Well, we're in a township meeting.
Let's take here.
Well, maybe a little bit afterwards. We're in township meeting, so I'm not going to make a political speech because it was a little bit on the partisan side. But the point is basically similar to what I said at the Petty Merc dinner, and what I said in a letter to Jake's paper several months back. And the bottom line is that towns just can't look within themselves for savings. Every town that just looks within themselves for savings is probably going to get tapped out, because there aren't too many small towns and big towns in the state of New Jersey that aren't looking real hard to try to be as efficient as possible. The 2% cap has caused everybody to tighten their belts. And I told the story about being at a mayor's conference down in Somerville several years back, and we're sitting talking about how Somerset County compares to Cambridge, Massachusetts, Austin, Texas, in trying to lure large and small companies and business and people to live in Somerset County. And everybody around the room was really happy about, well, we have great schools. And we do have great schools. We're in a great location. We've got highways, and the train gets you right into the city. Jersey Shore, the Poconos, and Somerset County is right in the middle of it. And there are a lot of things on the tote board for pros about Somerset County. And we went to the con side. Well, we've all got high property taxes. And everybody kind of looked at their shoes and go, yeah, well, there's not much we can do about it. Let's go on to the next thing. And it really made me angry, because I'm sitting in a room full of mayors in our county, and they just Yeah, can't do much about property taxes. No, we can. But I also realized it wasn't that they were irresponsible or not doing the right thing, but if they just looked at their town and the budget that they do just within their town, they're right. There's not a lot that can be done. But when you look at working with the school and working with the neighboring towns and looking at things in a regional manner, there is a lot that can be done. There's a lot of savings that are out there. We have to get out of, you've got to have our name on the side of the truck or the car or the whatever. I met a mayor at the league a couple of years ago, and I think he was up in Sussex County somewhere. And he said, I'm in a really tiny town in Sussex County. We only have 3 employees. I said, well, how do you run a town on just 3 employees? He said, everything we do is contracted out. I said, well, what does your elected government do? Well, they manage contracts. They got this town over here does their DPW, like Far Hills works with us. They got this other town that does the police. We've got another town that gives us our school services, and another town. And they say, and I go, well, but none of that stuff's yours. They say, but yeah, but every year, every other year, those contracts come due. And we get to sit and negotiate with them and say, we'd like a better deal. Or we don't like your service there. And guess what? The guy over here, the other town, they're saying they might be willing to do it. And he says it's worked out well for them. I'm not saying that every town should be going to contract everything. But my point is that there's a lot of innovation that could be done, and it could help make New Jersey a little more affordable. But this town and these people all here that work for the taxpayers have been tireless in making the effort to try to be as efficient and reaching out to our neighboring towns and having a good relationship with our neighbors. That's afforded us a chance to have a pretty good year budget-wise, and we'll see going into the future, but certainly we're going in the right direction, and I thank everybody for what they've done on that.
And Steve, the point that you made was, and that's not a partisan issue at all. This is just a good governance issue. And, one of the remarks I think that resonated was when you said, those mayors were sitting around and, we're sitting there. We should look to Washington, D.C. to help us on these issues, or we should look to Trenton to help us on these issues. And your comment that is like, no, mayors and municipal representatives, you should be looking within and talking to each other about finding those opportunities. And I think this budget reflects that, and it's something that you've been talking about since your entire term up here on the dais. So once again, a great kudos to you for affecting it. And we learned a lot. We sat at our table with some folks from folks down in South Jersey. I learned a lot about some shared services that I didn't even know. There's some other interesting innovation going on. So anyway, enough of that. I thank you. And we do have 2 more resolutions tonight that are really important also for the people sitting out here. And let's look at Resolution 2018-041. This is authorizing employee salaries. We're not going to get anywhere if we don't do that. So can I get a comment or question on 2018-041? Or a motion, I should say.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Second.
Again, roll call vote. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Santucci?
Aye.
Mayor Park?
Aye.
Thank you.
And Resolution 2018-042, authorizing a special stipend for certain exempt employees. Any comments or questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Again, roll call vote. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Santucci?
Aye.
Mayor Park?
Aye. Bill list. I'll take a motion to approve the bill list pending the approval of individual invoices.
So moved.
Second.
One last roll call. Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Santucci?
Aye.
Mayor Park?
Aye.
Thank you.
Discussion items. Is there anything that anyone would like to bring up as a discussion item that's not already new business, old business? All right, new business, which is kind of like the discussion items, but does anybody have any new business? All right, old business. Larry, any more about the farmer's market? Tell us more, if there
On the
is.
farmer's market, so we've actually, through the folks that we've already spoken to, word has gotten out and received 2 unsolicited phone calls from vendors and a local farm that we did not identify to be included, who expressed very strong interest in participation. And so they will be submitting, actually Robin Ray.
Actually, we got 2 or 3 today. They're in your
Right,
mailbox,
right.
so.
Robin did text me and told me that we got a bunch in. First, I want to thank Robin, because Robin was not in our initial group forming the Farmers Market Committee, but she, along with Judy, are our eyes and ears here in the building. So Robin actually took our material, put together a spreadsheet, has been updating the spreadsheet as we've added additional vendors, and is updating the spreadsheet once again to reflect the registration packets as they're coming in, so that when we go back to the Farmers Market Committee and we cull through those, it's just a great job that Robin has done. Yeah, so they're coming in.
Great.
They're coming in, and this is, it's really positive news, and the Farmers Market Committee is very energized about getting that going.
We just got to get a growing season happening.
Well, we got some water.
A lot of
We
water.
got some water.
Farmers market.
That's good.
A lot of water.
Maybe a little too much water, but we got some water.
All right. Short-term rentals. Anything new on that? Okay. No. And, okay. Anything else that we haven't touched on? All right, public comments. Second bite of the apple. There's the microphone, there's the podium. Again, your name and your address for the audience.
Restaurant The Hills. As a private citizen, I just wanted to say thank you to you guys. The budget work you guys do is phenomenal. I really wish more people would show up to your meetings so they could hear all about the shared services, that there are so many. I can't remember, there's what, like 8 or 10 on the list. I think it's on your website. Half the meeting this afternoon has been Judy mentioning shared service after shared service, and we really appreciate all of what you guys do. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Renee.
All right. Seeing no other comments, we'll go to Township Committee comments. Mr. Stevenson.
Thank you, Mayor. No comments.
All right. Mr. Hickey.
Mayor, no comments, thank you.
Mr. Jacobs.
No comments, Mayor.
No further comments, Mayor. But thank you.
All right, and I'll make it 5 in a row. We do have an executive session. There's a couple items, but I don't believe there's anything that we will be coming out with. So can I get a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll see you in the back.
We are back.
And at 8:31, we are out of executive session. Yeah, that's what I have.
It's pretty good.
And with seeing no further business, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, there you go.
So, did you talk to him, or did you guys just text?